Hi, welcome to Truth by Billie Beene. Today's flash on January 12, 2025. Time in Texas about 7 p.m. Some of the things we'll be covering: Texas freeze, the U.S. another snow round, Mount Hermon, Stargate, Greenland and the Panama Canal, U.S. may take by force. Some of my sources are God in the Bible, Patriot Subscriber, Word Carroll, BEFOREITSNEWS, John CHALMERS, Adapt 2030, AccuWeather, Politico, Plus. So let's get started. So we're going to have another round of cold in the U.S. according to Adapt 2030. In the next week. Today's January 12. So it's going to affect the Texas South Coast by about January 18, when the low on the coastline of Texas will be on January 18, go down to the 30s. January 21, extreme South Coast Texas will have a high of 28 and a low of 24. So we're talking about a hard freeze. The second Arctic front will cover much of the U.S. and cover the U.S. Down to the coast for Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida. So that's coming up. And another round of snow for most of the U.S. And we have this from a Patriot Subscriber. I took a lot of herbs before this last cold front came in, but myself and many other people came down with flu-like symptoms. And I had other Patriot Subscribers who said the same thing. Definitely something is in the snow. I have a Patriot Subscriber. We need to start our own depopulation program and begin with FEMA, the CIA, the UN, and WEF. I agree. I have a Patriot Subscriber. So we've had military helicopters flying overhead now today, January 12, about 2 p.m., Conway, Arkansas. I have a Patriot Subscriber. We've seen these coarse particles in the air in Weatherford, Texas. I have a Patriot Subscriber. Western North Carolina is definitely red, mostly Republican, and no help from FEMA. Thousands are still homeless and living in tents. So we'll see. FEMA, it's believed by this Patriot Subscriber, is a money laundering system. I had another Patriot Subscriber who says they will soon be getting help. And I believe my Patriot Subscriber is referring to President Trump firmly getting back in the saddle and helping the people of Western North Carolina. Is it logical that FEMA doesn't have money when the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, said, oh, FEMA can make the homeowners in California, which we know is mostly Democrats, 100% whole? Talking about California, we now understand today, according to BPEARTHWATch, people were lining up at 4 a.m. this morning to get back into the Brentwood subdivision, as announced by the Los Angeles government. And many people were brought in one at a time by the police. And then suddenly, later in the day, it was stopped and no one else was allowed in Brentwood. The people of Brentwood and other areas of California are really mad. And now there's very active and large recall efforts for both the governor, Gavin Newsom, and the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass. So that's going on in California. Meanwhile, the largest fire, Palisades, is only about 11% contained, and the wind is picking up, and another wind event is predicted for Monday. Now, it's coming out that the Santa Ana winds, which are normal for California, normally occur September to November, not January. Therefore, more belief and speculation is being put forth that the people of California are seeing weather manipulation. So I have a Patriot subscriber. I definitely agree with President Trump that there should be a special 47th inauguration, private, televised by satellite. Stay safe, President Trump. I have a Patriot subscriber. There's a deep state spray being put forth now over Florida that is including Agent Orange. I have a Patriot subscriber. Well. A UN debit card, and this is for the alleged homeless man in Los Angeles walking around with a flamethrower, had no ID, 5 burner phones, and a UN debit card. Arrested by the LA police and then let go. So my Patriot subscriber says, well, a UN debit card. Isn't that special? I have a Patriot subscriber. I believe these fires are intentional in California. Yeah, being put forth by and aided and abetted by weather manipulation. I've from Ward Carroll, he puts forth, I'll try to link his video for you. He does a good job of detailing in a short video the history of Greenland, which we believe is certainly to become a part of the U.S. in the very near future. And now I have extensive information from multiple sources, including a recent interview by John Chalmers on Before It's News, talking about the inauguration and the threats that are coming forth. So for the inauguration, we saw the certification for the vote on January 6th and no pushback by anyone in Congress. The first time that has occurred. It's believed that President Trump's team has been speaking to certain members of Congress who may have been involved in the actual commission of something around the 2020 election. And it's believed that President Trump, his vice president, and appointees gathered together in one location in Washington, D.C. for the inauguration could be taken out in a preemptive strike by certain nation states who appear to be involved in current attacks on the U.S., as we're seeing with the fires in California. So that's going on. And now we have this, yes. Recently we heard about a Russian general, Kurakov, who was assassinated near Moscow with a bomb on a scooter near his apartment. And I put out that information. It was strange. It was being attributed to Ukraine. And yet this Russian general had nothing to do with the conflict going on in Ukraine. Instead, his area was bioweapons and other areas, weapons of mass destruction. Now it's coming out that he was actively engaged in an investigation of weapons of mass destruction, including suitcase nukes, believed, at least one believed to be in the U.S. And these suitcase nukes, it's believed, were lost during the 1991 takedown of the Soviet Union. And I've put that out in a previous video. We had multiple sources on it. That 42 out of 154 nukes had disappeared. These are small tactical nukes. Intel now in the U.S. is that one is in play to be used at President Trump's inauguration. So it's alleged now, tying the investigation of Kurakov, who investigated weapons of mass destruction, nukes, especially suitcase nukes, which require servicing at certain points. If you have an old one and you want to get it in active status, then you need certain materials. These were being tracked by General Kurakov. So it's believed he was assassinated because he had information about the suitcase nukes, especially the one that's now believed to be in play in the U.S. So that's going on. And now we have this. We have that is it necessary for the inauguration to be held in D.C.? Absolutely not. It's necessary that President Trump be inaugurated and back in the saddle. And intel now is coming out that President Trump will be inaugurated about 12 noon on January 20. And he has his team actively putting in place certain things so that by 2 p.m. in the afternoon, President Trump will be fully operational to begin, we believe, possible military efforts against certain nation states. And we recall President Trump's attempted assassination in Butler, PA in July. And yet, there was a strange FBI involvement. And President Trump has, we understand, a list of participants in that attempted assassination. So heads up, assassins. We believe some are embedded in the FBI. And that currently numerous arrests are being made in California. Groups of illegals attributed to Iranian military, CCP military, working in teams of 5 men to put forth arson, and they are placing and igniting fertilizer bombs. Now, many of us will recall that 60,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate were stolen about a year and a half ago from a train rolling from Montana to California. Now, I did extensive research on that, and Monkey Works also put forth information on that. So it appeared that the ammonium nitrate was never loaded on the train in Montana. And when the train arrived in California and was searched, no ammonium nitrate. And we have this, that on January 7 and January 8, about the time the fires began in California, JB was on the ground there, about 100 miles from Los Angeles, ostensibly to go to some Native American sites and do this and that. I submit and put forth this, that possibly the JB flight there was to bring in certain things to California. And we're seeing signs that are reminiscent of the deep state's depopulation previous efforts for fires in Paradise, California, Lahaina in Hawaii. We've seen that recently. And it's coming out that some of these fires in California have been documented now to have been caused by directed energy weapons, possibly put in place by satellites in the sky, operated by certain foreign nation states. America is under attack. And the information is now coming out. Also, microwave lasers are being used, military-grade weapons, likely from satellites operated by nation states. We also have certain traitors in the U.S. government and the U.S. military, many U.S. government agencies. And it's believed that certain nation states were involved in the 2020 election via hacking. I know I covered that extensively. I recall certain nation states that had been documented to be involved, which includes Venezuela, Italy, Serbia, Romania, Germany. Now, this does not apply to the governments nor the people of these nations, but merely deep state members operating from computers. So that's going on. And now we have this. We thought it very peculiar, the takedown of Syria. And we saw that, so we have Israel and Syria. So we have Israel, Syria, Turkey. And we had heard that Israel, this is the U.S. and Israel, this was a tri-nation takeover of Syria, U.S., Israel, and Turkey. The U.S. and Israel are now in control of Mount Hermon. And according to the book of Enoch, this is where the fallen angels landed after they were kicked out of heaven by God. It's now coming out that there is a Stargate there, and that apparently President Assad of Syria had some kind of dial-up device that would operate the Stargate. The location of this dial-up device is unclear at this moment. So that's coming out. Dr. Michael SALLA brings this information out about the Stargate under Mount Hermon and its ancient fallen angel technology. And we have now conflict between Turkey and the U.S.-backed Kurds inside Syria. So it's unknown how this is going to move forth. And in Mount Hermon are underground bases operated by the deep state. So it's very likely we'll see the U.S. military going in to this location. And they have many underground bases, the deep state does, under Mount Hermon. And underground bases, there's 500 in the U.S., 5,000 in the world. And these bases go to many nations, including Egypt and Turkey. So that's going on. And we wondered, or I did, why this why the U.S., the White Hats, were taking over Syria and the manner it was taken over. And we have this. Danny Hophead interviewed Pepe Escobar, who's a journalist currently living in Russia, talking about Iran and China. And it's believed by many now that these current fires in California are being put forth by illegals led in by the JB Democrats, operated by the Iranian military and the CCP military. And now I'd like to bring this out. Iran and China. In China is split. We have President Xi and we have the CCP. In Iran, we have the fastest growing Christian group in the world, and 80% of the Iranian people are against their government. So when I'm talking about our Iranian military and CCP military operating in the U.S. to facilitate the fires we're currently seeing in California, I'm not talking about the Chinese people nor President Xi, and I'm not talking about the Iranian people. But we see an evil and corrupt Iranian government, and we see an evil and corrupt part of China, the CCP, who are actively doing this. Now, this is coming out that Turkey's ruling class leans toward NATO and the U.S., and yet we know Turkey wants to be a member of the BRICS group. That includes Russia and China, Brazil, and many other nations, putting up a separate money system versus the U.S. dollar. Saudi Arabia is on the fence whether to join BRICS or not. And Pepe Escobar states President Trump, he believes, does not understand BRICS. I say this to Pepe Escobar. I believe you greatly underestimate President Trump and his advisors. And President Trump is putting forth a threat for 100% tariffs against the BRICS nations who declined to use the U.S. dollar. And I put forth my own opinion. I believe that America should isolate and that we should withdraw from all globalist organizations, including the UN, NATO, IMF, the WEF, the WHO, and so on. And that we should close many of our foreign military bases and bring our military home. We need to rebuild our military. We need to rebuild America. And I believe we should resurrect within America our own steel manufacturing, our own manufacturing of raw materials, our own electronics manufacturing, our own chip manufacturing, our own weapons manufacturing, and put forth efforts to assist farmers and ranchers. Make America great again. And I believe we should put laws in place that no American soil will be sold to foreign investors, nor to foreign governments, nor to foreign individuals. And that we should close our borders. And we have on our doorstep the prospect of enlarging America to include Canada, Greenland, Mexico, Panama, Australia, and New Zealand. So that's going on. And now we have this. Shock and awe, says Republican from Wyoming, who is the senator. He is the Senate Majority Whip, John Brasso. President Trump will not rule out, this is from Politico, not rule out military force to take Panama, the Panama Canal, and also Greenland. And we have this. President Trump will put in place executive orders to close our border immediately, and has certain executive orders to take money away from certain projects. That would be the Ukraine conflict, the conflict going on in the Middle East. Certain agencies are going to be dramatically reduced, and so on. And to invest American sources and money into improving the economy of America and the lives of American citizens. I believe it's good to pray for protection for President Trump, his family, and our government that's coming into being with this new inauguration. So it's good to pray for America and world peace. I love you, and I'll see you soon.